Hi, my name is Joanne Mudge. I am originally from Utah. I am a bioinformatician here at the National Center for Genome Resources in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So, we do DNA sequencing and analysis. And so, we produce biological knowledge. We answer complex questions from the natural world or from the medical world or agriculture, any of those things using DNA. One of the things I really like about my job is that every day is different. And so it's never boring. I typically would come in maybe between 8 and 9 and leave, 4, 5, 6, just depending on the day. I'm working on different projects. Sometimes I'm working on my computer doing analysis of DNA. Sometimes I'm writing up my results. Sometimes I'm writing a proposal to get money to actually do more research. Sometimes I'm teaching. Sometimes I'm mentoring other colleagues or asking them questions. It's different every single day. Most recently, I've been working on projects with SARS-CoV-2. And so that's really nice because it's just so incredibly important right now to be able to better understand things. So we're starting a new project, but I did complete a project where we're looking at thousands of SARS-CoV-2 genomes all at once and using analytic tools called pangenomic tools that allow us to look at all these all together and look and see how these genomes are changing and how they're evolving, and look for regions of the genome that might be conserved so that these are regions that might be um, better for us to target for things like vaccines or therapeutics because they don't change a lot. And if they do change, it's detrimental to the virus. I was first really interested in genetics, which is kind of the basis of what turned into bioinformatics. In eighth grade, I had my first genetics class, and I had a great high school, a great biology teacher at that point, and then he taught me through high school as well. I do remember I went into plant genetics, although I work on everything now because my high school teacher got up one day and said he was a zoologist, but he wished he'd studied plants. And because animals, they move to reproduce, they move to get food, they move to run away from animals. But plants have to have these complex molecular mechanisms in order to be able to do all of that stuff. And so that really is what got me interested in plants and genetics in the first place. And then as I was going through school, I'm actually now in a field that didn't exist when I did my schooling. And so bioinformatics was not even even a subject. In about 2007 or 2008, new sequencing technologies came through and allowed us to really generate a lot more sequence data than we ever could before. And so then we needed people to be able to analyze all that data, and that's when the field of bioinformatics was born. And so I don't actually have a degree in it because of that, and I have a so my degree is in plant genetics. And then my advisor actually ended up coming to where I work now on a sabbatical. And he offered me the chance to stay on in his lab after I graduated with my PhD in order to be able to transition into bioinformatics. And so that's how I got into the field. Right, yeah. So the field is moving really, really fast. And when you just look at the changes in sequencing, it's just phenomenal what's happened over just even the last decade. And so as these technologies change and improve, it really has changed what we can do and the complexity of organisms that we can work with and the complexity of problems that we can solve. My favorite part of the job is two things. One is that it changes all the time, so I am never bored, and the other is I get to help direct which direction I go. And so I can, if I want to work on something, I can write a proposal and try and get funding to be able to do that. If I do a lot of outreach and education, and that was kind of my choice as well to be able to reach out to people and do that. And you can kind of drive the direction you want to head. Biology, of course, was one of the most important fields that I studied in high school in order to be able to do what I'm doing now. And like I said, it started in eighth grade in genetics. That's really what I fell in love with. I knew I wanted to work kind of on that molecular level and look at the DNA, and that's still what I do today. So there's other fields as well that really help me. Other classes, chemistry is one of them. So DNA is a molecule. And so understanding that molecule and the chemistry behind it has been really helpful. Math as well. So we work with really large numbers. I didn't have any statistics, but I wish I had at that point. And what has been really helpful, which I didn't realize at the time, is English, writing and communicating. That's a big part of what scientists do. So you have to write in order to be able to um, get money, convince people that what you're studying is important and convince them to fund you to be able to do the research, give you money to do that sequencing. And you have to actually be able to write up your results and show that you're doing good research as well. And so writing and communicating with collaborators, all of that is really important. I can see myself maybe staying here and just working on completely different things because that's the nice thing of this job. It evolves. One thing I would like to get more into is working on environmental issues and especially climate change and interactions between plant and microbes that can maybe help to mitigate some of the pressures of climate change. And so genetic diversity is another issue there. Do we have enough genetic diversity for plants and animals and microbes to be able to get through some of these changes that are ahead of us? And so that's what I would like to be doing in 5 years. Advice that I would give, I would say explore. Try out a bunch of different things. I know when I knew I wanted to be a geneticist, but I didn't know what I wanted to apply that to. And so I remember my dad saying when I went to college, why don't you just try a bunch of different classes? And he really encouraged me to, I was looking into marine biology. Even though I went to school in Utah, there's no oceans around there. Um, but he encouraged me also to look into botany. He had done some botany work and he knew that it was a strong department there. And so I tried it and just being able to explore and try different things, I found that I really loved the plants. And that was really where I wanted to stay. I do work on a lot of things now, but I always have some sort of plant project going on.